welcome to the latest unboxing video by theplayersaid.com. Today we're taking a look at Conan, and this is by Monolith, and the designers are here in the front. This box is huge. This is a miniatures heavy game, plays in about 90 minutes, sometimes a little bit more depending on the scenarios and how new you are to it. They say it's 14 plus. It's a little, the miniatures are pretty graphic, and there's, it's Conan going around smashing stuff. So let's take a look. Again, box is huge. And this is just the retail version. I know the Kickstarter comes with a bunch of exclusives. So let's have just a little look at what's inside the box here. So this is the Overlord's book. I'm very briefly, oh look, full color. I don't want to show you what's in there necessarily because there's a lot of the secrets for the kind of like the Dungeon Master. But just look at the artwork, it's fantastic here. And this has, I think, 5 or 6 different scenarios on there for different numbers and player counts. This is the Heroes book. Just again, artwork is it's just amazing, isn't it? Here we're going to have most of the rules of the game, how the tactical movement and fighting works, all the special abilities, the various dice rolling. Big text, pretty spaced out. It's not necessarily particularly difficult rules-wise, but there are, like all good miniatures games, a lot of nuances to the game, so, you get a lot out of it. This is the Overseer's board. And here you have pools and things like that of different resources, which will have these gems of different colors. And the Overlord's going to have different miniatures and figurines, characters to be able to put out at different costs. And this is hard plastic, so it's nice and well made. Everyone's going to fall out. And there's, trays, and everything has a little finger hole, so it's easy to pick up and take out. So this is actually a very nice piece of kit. Really like that. There's little turn track markers here, and a lot of different player aids for the skills and magic and defense. These are glossy, good, decent card stock. And this is the player boards for each of the different players, different characters. And again, just the artwork is fantastic on these. Not too cluttered, and lots of examples of which dice go where and what those represent. So very happy with how those are. Again, these are the gems. These are red and blue. Same ones that come with games like Ascension or Istanbul. Very standard. There's a lot of those. So we have a stack of, how best to tackle this. So, we have different colored ring bases, similar to the ones found in Blood Rage. You can just put the minis on these and clip those in, and we'll take a look at those later, so I'll keep those handy. Here's the dice that we're going to roll. Different colors for different types of attacks and weapons. The red dice are obviously the best ones. They just have the most axes on them. And the yellow ones, more of a crapshoot, 50-50 here. And then the orange ones are somewhere in between. So we're going to be rolling those, trying to get the appropriate number of hits. So those are great, those are nice. Love it when they have the custom dice, and it's not just rolling d6s. We have lots of these small cards. And these purple ones here are spells, which could be extremely powerful, used to break mechanics and rules. And then we have items, magic weapons, special abilities, different magical items. And these all have attack values, and we're going to be equipping these and using them to slay the baddies. And that's a lot of what this game is. There's a lot of low-level guys, and it's kind of hack and slash through the swarm and the sea of bad guys to get to the main baddie. Tokens. A lot of these, there's a lot of tokens, and just cardboard bits and pieces here. So you get things like picket lines, rows of spikes. And these are all very thick, punched cardboard. And you have different characters here, and obviously this is the healthy side, and this is the bloody dead side. And there's a lot of those. There's just so many of these, and there's ones for almost everything here. And these are the Overlord's going to have these out on that tray here as a reference to how and what they do, and then there's the cost of how much it's going to cost the Overlord, the Overseer, to put them out on the board. And they'll cycle through, so once you use the guy, oh, it's cheap, but he's going to go back to the other end. So if you want to get him out again quickly, it's going to be very expensive for the Overlord to do that. So there's some nice balancing going on there. Okay, there is tons more of those character tokens here. A lot of miscellaneous tokens. These are different terrains, different bits and pieces, you know, chests to break open, doors to smash out. More tokens here, and these are all based on the different scenarios or spell tokens, and those have effects. There's just a lot of them in the game. Again, miniatures games often have that kind of stuff. So let's take a look at the miniatures. So, miniatures. Here's the big old box. Let's crank it open. And there are. So, there's 2 full trays of the miniatures in here. And these are just unbelievable. So let's take a little look here. We'll get these in focus. Kind of just glance over those. You can pause if you want it more in depth, but I'm going to stop here and get some of these out just to have a look. So there's a couple of these demons here. Just fantastic quality. The detailing on them is great. They've done a great job. These are the very hard kind of brick plastic. They've got bends to them so the wings can bend. They're not going to snap and break, but you don't want to put too much tension on them like you would any miniatures, really. You know, here's just, even just the kind of low-level pirate guys. Just great. You know, there's 15 of those, so you're just going to have swarms of those coming out, and it's Conan coming and hacking and slashing through all of them. Here's a hyena. Now you can paint these up and use them in role-playing games as well. Use them for anything. So here's the heroes. These are the important ones. Is what the majority of you are going to be hanging around. So here's Conan, huge big old sword, looking like he's just so mad. And we have the sorceress. These are great, and these heroes are a lighter color, so that if you play this game, you don't want to paint them. Yeah, they're easy to differentiate from the bad guys. There, it's very, very simple to do that. Not getting them lost in a sea of miniatures. Some of my favorite guys here. This is huge, almost half giant guy, and this leader here. I just love them. I'm a sucker for a game with miniatures, and these ones are just fantastic. And so here's these are kind of guards that can help you out and be summoned. More bad guys. Let's take a close up of this. Just excellent detail on the miniatures. And these are going to be a joy to paint. And some of them are going to be quite quick to paint. Like this, these have a large flesh area, so you can do some quick dry brushing techniques to kind of perk them up. And just a ton of these armored guards as well. And then some bowmen as well. So those are all the miniatures that come just on these 2 trays. And as you saw earlier, this is the big baddie. You love to have these huge, iconic, standout miniatures. This is the basilisk. Let's get them in focus here. Just all of the different spikes and textures. It's fantastic miniature to just hold and have on the table. Even put them next to Conan. Conan's intimidating, but you don't want to be staring this guy down the throat. And something that's kind of hard to see. He does have quite a deep throat, so it looks, it gives a great effect when it's on the table. So I'm very excited to get these out and play around with these. So that's the miniatures, and we'll just crack out the boards here really quickly. There's 2 boards, and they are double-sided. I have to make some room here. So, you have a castle, kind of at night time, with a big flaming campfire in the middle. And the board's broken up into areas, and it's tactically moving through the areas, trying to achieve the objectives. But the artwork is just, it's so great. You have two ships alongside each other, will be boarding each other. Even just, you know, the detail of the artwork is fantastic. It's fun to play on it. It gives you a sense of realism. Look at this great shark just kind of popping out of the water there. If anyone's dying in that spot, I know I'm just going to like pretend he's getting eaten. And then the second board, we have a camp, which has these buildings in them, and the buildings can be entered through very specific parts. And you get great effects from it. Just, again, love the artwork on these. And you have like an indoor building. Looks like it's a tavern. Here's a bar. So it's going in and smashing things up. Much like in a Dungeons and Dragons game. So those are the boards, and that's everything that comes in this box. That was a lot, so thanks for sticking with us. So this is Conan by Monolith, and I am, for one, very, very excited to play this game, because there's just a lot to it, and eventually I might paint these miniatures for Grant. One last thing, let's just pop these little dinks, the little rings on there. They don't really come off, but if you give it a little bit of force. So you can allocate different colors and sections to all the different guys who look the same. So that's Conan. Thank you very much for watching.